Hello and welcome to the Khalifa International Stadium. I'm Robbie Thompson for PSG TV, joined by Laure Boulot, sporting coordinator for the women's team. Laure, bienvenue à Doha.
Merci Robbie, j'espère que tout va bien pour toi aussi. Bienvenue au magnifique stade de Khalifa. On est très heureux parce que c'est le premier stade qui est terminé pour la Coupe du Monde 2022. Et donc c'est un honneur pour nous d'être ici un petit peu en prime time.
Exactly, we're here for the Qatar Tour 2019. Paris Saint-Germain have been here since Sunday evening. They've had a full day of activities, sponsorship, marketing, meeting the press, visiting Doha and Qatar, going to the desert, going to the metro, visiting the World Cup stadiums, and here tonight a training session for the people of Qatar, open to the public, free of charge, to see the likes of Neymar, Gigi Buffon, Angel Di Maria, Kylian Mbappe, of course, the France World Cup star, all free of charge. And I'm very happy to say there's nearly 10,000 people here at the moment, and they've had to reopen the gates, having closed them initially. There were too many people outside. It's a huge success and a great way to measure the success and the popularity of Paris Saint-Germain here in Qatar.
Oui, c'est une chance. Je vais essayer de résumer un petit peu ce que tu viens de dire. Les joueurs sont arrivés samedi et dimanche, après leur belle victoire d'ailleurs, on peut le préciser, contre Amiens. Ils ont fait beaucoup d'activations hier et aujourd'hui on a cet entraînement qui est ouvert au public. Donc je pense qu'il y a à peu près 10 000 personnes. Les portes ont été réouvertes, c'est important de le signaler. Il y avait un problème. Il y avait too many people. Donc ils vont pouvoir assister à un entraînement et voir en vrai les stars tels que Neymar, Mbappé. Je pense que c'est un privilège. Donc en tout cas ils sont très fiers d'accueillir le Paris Saint-Germain et je pense aussi pour avoir vu les joueurs, ils sont très contents d'être en stage ici, c'est important pour eux. Et en plus de ça, les conditions, que ce soit d'entraînement ou climatiques, sont parfaites. Donc on est tous heureux.
That's right, Laure. Important to say as well, look, the club is here for a number of reasons, including marketing and sponsoring reasons, but perhaps first and foremost, they're here to train very hard for the second half of the season. It's basically the only full week off that the club will have between now and early April, before the international break in the last week of March. They'll be playing 2 matches a week, every 3 or 4 days. So this was the chance to come. This is also the chance to train very hard. There are 2 sessions, morning and night. There was a session this morning, one now here at Khalifa Stadium. Tomorrow there's 2 sessions. There'll be a session Thursday morning as well to train. It's very important for Thomas Tuchel to lay the foundations, the fitness work, to get that hard work done with some big matches coming up, especially in just 3 weeks' time now, the Champions League match away at Old Trafford to Manchester United on the 12th of February. That's the one that all the fans are looking forward to now.
Oui, je pense que c'est important de préciser parce que par moment, quand on part en stage comme ça, on peut se faire une fausse idée sur l'intensité et la dose des entraînements. Il ne faut pas se tromper, bien évidemment, il y a des opérations marketing, mais les joueurs et le staff ont des objectifs très élevés avec des matchs qui vont effectivement beaucoup s'enchaîner. Et il est important de travailler, c'est aussi le moment de faire des doubles séances, ça fait longtemps qu'ils n'en avaient pas fait, de profiter des installations aussi de balnéo, de récupération. Ici c'est quand même le top level pour avoir eu la chance aussi de faire un stage à Aspire. Donc voilà, en tout cas moi aussi sur mon tournage avec le Paris Saint-Germain, sur l'instant Laure, je me suis vraiment focalisée sur la performance avec les préparateurs physiques pour savoir exactement quels sont les bénéfices d'un stage comme ça pour repartir. Et effectivement c'est très important pour régénérer les corps et surtout pour qu'ils soient dans la durée très bons. Mais aussi n'oublions pas l'aspect cohésion, de partir un petit peu du train-train quotidien que l'on peut avoir à Paris et de retrouver une cohésion de groupe, quelque chose d'un peu plus relax aussi au niveau mental. Ça permet à tout le monde de se réunir et de passer aussi des bons moments ensemble. Voilà.
Well, that's exactly right, Laure. We spoke to Gianluigi Buffon yesterday. The players will chat about what they did yesterday, which was a very busy day of sponsorship and marketing, but also a lot of interviews for us at PSG TV as well. And Gigi Buffon said exactly that when we spoke to him, that there are all sorts of reasons for this camp, but for the players, one of the most important ones for them is to bond as a team, to head out into the desert. You'll see all the videos of what's been filmed here of Gianluigi Buffon and Angel Di Maria in a 4-wheel drive. You're being attacked by a beast, being in a four-wheel drive going through the dunes and being scared for their lives. Gigi's in the interview saying, well, I've made it to 40 years of age, and for a moment there I thought that was going to be the end of it. And those sort of things, those funny moments, they help bring you together. You help trust the people that you're with. You trust a little bit more your teammates. And when you're in an important football match, those things count, to know that you can trust implicitly, that you know how he will react, what he will do. Law, you know, because you're a France international, you played at the highest level, Champions League finals. You've come here on training camp as well, and you know what you're talking about.
Oui, c'est vrai, on a fait un stage avec les féminines ici il y a quelques années, je dirais à peu près 4 ans et demi. Et voilà, ce stage-là, voilà, comme l'a dit Gigi Buffon hier, c'est des stages où on travaille très sérieusement parce que les conditions sont optimales, mais en même temps, ça nous permet on a fait la sortie dans le désert, c'est exceptionnel. Et ça permet quand même de décompresser, on va dire plutôt mentalement, parce qu'on voit d'autres choses, parce qu'on vit des moments qu'on ne vit pas du tout quand on est à Paris. Et puis aussi, franchement, pour reparler de la période hivernale, elle est hyper difficile. Et d'avoir un tout petit peu de soleil, même de chaleur pour les organismes, pour l'avoir vécu, c'est vraiment hyper bénéfique.
Well, perhaps we can just talk about what you did today with the Instant Law and visiting, and especially with the performance group here, because Martin Bouchette and Ben Simpson, the two that the head of performance here at Paris Saint-Germain, they both came originally from the Aspire. They were here a few years ago, and it's very important for the performance aspect. They work a lot with GPS, don't they? They work behind the scenes to ensure that the Paris Saint-Germain players are always at 100%. Is that what you gleaned today? What did you learn today from that?
C'était une très longue journée, mais on a beaucoup travaillé. Bon, déjà, je suis allée voir les installations, l'entraînement. J'ai eu quelques interactions avec les joueurs, donc c'était sympa. J'ai visité Aspire du coup en petite voiture, donc je vous ferai découvrir un petit peu parce qu'il n'y a pas que des terrains de foot, il y a des piscines, il y a le dôme. Il y a aussi effectivement il y a Aspetar. Aspetar, c'est une grande clinique qui est réputée dans le monde pour l'accueil des sportifs de haut niveau, pour les réhabilitations des graves blessures, mais pas que le foot, des athlètes. Il y a des athlètes très connus qui sont venus ici. Donc j'ai essayé de faire une petite visite et puis ensuite effectivement j'ai rejoint Martin Buchette qui est responsable du pôle performance au Paris Saint-Germain pour qu'il nous explique un petit peu l'envers du décor et l'importance aujourd'hui de tout ce qui est athlétique dans le football. On voit que les corps ils ont évolué, le football il va beaucoup plus vite, mais parce qu'on se perfectionne de plus en plus aussi en prépa athlétique, en prévention des blessures, en nutrition, diététique. Voilà, bref, aujourd'hui un joueur de football, il y a le ballon, mais il y a plein de choses autour qui font qu'il va devenir meilleur, on va l'aider à devenir encore meilleur par des adjuvants, par la préparation, voilà. Donc j'ai fait une visite, il y avait 2 joueurs qui étaient aujourd'hui un petit peu à l'écart dans un centre spécialisé avec des piscines, avec Presnel Kimpembe, avec des petits problèmes des adducteurs, et avec effectivement Gigi Buffon aussi qui a eu une séance un peu spécialisée. Et c'est important aussi de voir l'accompagnement qu'on peut avoir d'un joueur qui est un petit peu à l'écart pour qu'il revienne le plus rapidement possible dans le groupe. Parce que le plus préjudiciable pour un coach, c'est de ne pas avoir tel joueur. Donc c'est un rôle aussi important de la team de Martin Buchette et du médical avec Eric Roland, le docteur. Voilà, j'ai essayé de montrer tout ça aujourd'hui et une petite visite du Qatar. Mais je commence à être un peu fatiguée.
Well, and Law only arrived yesterday morning or this morning? No, this morning you arrived.
Cette nuit.
So arrived at 5 o'clock this morning, so very, very busy day. We look forward to seeing that, a whole expose, if you like, into the workings of the performance team and the medical team here at Paris Saint-Germain. That will be available in the next couple of days, I guess, in the Instant Law on PSG.fr. As well, you'll see all the videos of everything, of the recaps of the training sessions and everything on PSG.fr, on the club's Twitter, Facebook accounts, Instagram. The community managers are working very hard here as well. Law's not the only one who's working very hard here in Qatar.
Les GPS, ça sera demain. Excuse-moi de te couper parce qu'après on va enchaîner. Mais tout ce qui est pendant l'entraînement, là je vais aller après ma journée marathon n'est pas finie. Je vais aller m'intéresser du coup forcément aux GPS. Les joueurs portent des GPS pendant les entraînements. Donc je voulais faire un peu découvrir l'envers du décor, à quoi ça sert, qu'est-ce qu'ils mesurent avec. Est-ce qu'on voit qui court pas, qui court vite, qui court lentement. Et la préparation aussi des boissons, de récupération, tout ça. Donc ça sera mais tout à l'heure, pas tout de suite.
Okay, so Laura will soon be leaving us to run and keep working to just see exactly how the medical staff work behind the scenes at a training session as well, measuring the GPS, who's running, who runs the most, who runs less. I remember an interesting statistic. It was 4 seasons ago now. The 2 players that ran the most in training and matches combined at Paris Saint-Germain over an entire season were Thiago Motta and Javier Pastore. Not 2 that you necessarily think, 2 but players that are always on the move, always moving. And it's things like that that you don't necessarily see when you're just watching the football matches once or twice a week. You don't see the workload the players get through and how hard they really are being pushed to the very limit the whole time, aren't they?
C'est très intéressant ce que tu dis parce qu'en fait, dans le football, il faut de tous les profils. Et quand on dit que Thiago Motta et Javier Pastore couraient le plus, c'est parce qu'ils ont un poste. Souvent, les milieux de terrain, ils sont tout le temps en mouvement et ils ne s'arrêtent jamais, donc forcément les kilomètres s'additionnent. Alors qu'on va reprendre sur des joueurs actuels, c'est vrai qu'un Verratti va être un peu dans le même registre, mais, ou Marquinhos quand il va jouer numéro 6. Alors qu'un Kylian Mbappé, ça va être beaucoup de travail intermittent, donc dans des sprints, donc une récupération, des sprints, répétition de sprints, donc c'est des efforts totalement différents, mais ils ont des muscles totalement différents aussi. Donc c'est ça qui me passionne et c'est toutes ces petites questions que je vais poser. Et puis voilà, la vitesse c'est aussi important, l'endurance. Voilà, il y a un bon équilibre en fonction des postes. Ça dépend.
Yeah, well, you're doing a very good advertisement for your segment coming up tomorrow. I'm sure a lot of people will be looking forward to seeing that, to try and understand a little bit more all the people that work behind the scenes at Paris Saint-Germain as well. Just to come back to the Qatar Tour 2019 then. Yesterday, we had 4 players that went out to the desert. I mentioned Gianluigi Buffon and Angel Di Maria. They were joined by Neymar and Thiago Silva. They spent a whole day out in the desert on the edge of the water, traditional camps where they ate and saw things. You can see all the photographs of all this on the club's official websites as well. There was the fashion designer Manish was here, who met with the players as well. The players went to a shopping centre and had enormous autograph and signing sessions as well with fans. They went in the metro, which isn't open yet. The metro, which was a big plan, a civil engineering plan for the city of Doha. And once they got awarded the World Cup, they changed all the plans to ensure that all the metro roads went to a stadium. So the players took the metro to Al Wakra Stadium, which will be one of the World Cup stadiums yesterday. And that as well, this is one of the World Cup stadiums that was finished. Law, you said you were here a few years ago when it wasn't finished yet. I was here a few years before that as well, when it was a different kind of stadium. It was originally built in 1976, but it's been changed several times. Now holds 40,000 people, and we can see air conditioning ducts all around the stadium. So there will be air-conditioned football stadiums at the World Cup. I think that's something we can say. We can see there must be probably 5,000 air conditioning ducts all around the stadium. We'll see if you can see them on the shot on the big screen there. Those round, they look like portals on the side of a boat. Well, they're all air conditioning ducts. The technology is quite remarkable, and it's also, I am reliably informed, very energy efficient, done with the environment in mind. It's a grade 4 stadium. It was the first grade 4 stadium ever in the world. So they're trying to do things the right way here as well.
Ça va être dur de résumer tout ça, mais si j'ai bien compris, il y a eu effectivement une sortie dans le désert avec des joueurs majeurs et je pense qu'ils ont passé un bon moment. Mais c'est vrai que comme tu le disais, il y a des gros défis pour cette Coupe du Monde et j'ai tout de suite ressenti ça. En essayant aussi d'avoir une énergie propre pour l'environnement. Je pense qu'ils essayent de faire les choses bien et ils ont vraiment la volonté de proposer une belle Coupe du Monde. Ils le démontrent aujourd'hui avec des stades qui sont très beaux, mais aussi qui ont qui sont verts, on va dire ça comme ça. Donc voilà, j'ai hâte d'en découvrir d'autres aussi, des stades. J'ai pas eu la chance de prendre le métro et de voir, mais les joueurs m'ont dit que c'était très sympa.
The players all wearing their hard hats. They look like the group out of YMCA. Which was,
J'ai vu les photos.
Weekend. This stadium, we can just see next to us, we have all the young kids from the Paris Saint-Germain Academy here in Doha who are preparing for a big group photo to mark the moment as well. They've written out PSG on the ground just to our left. So that's great to have them here. Laura, you know all about the Paris Saint-Germain Academy as well. It's this soccer school, if you like, for kids all over the world. It's now in 14 countries around the world. There are over 12,000 children now that play in the Paris Saint-Germain academies. And that as well, you have the Neymars, the Buffons, the Thiago Silvas, all these great players, the Mbappés. But Paris Saint-Germain also have to be present at grassroots level, don't they? At the bottom of the system. And that's what this Paris Saint-Germain Academy is all about.
Oui, ils sont juste à notre gauche, les jeunes qui font partie de cette académie qui est toute récente. On a la chance de beaucoup voyager avec le Paris Saint-Germain et les académies, on en a rencontré beaucoup. Et c'est aussi un axe de développement du club, de développer les académies, de permettre la pratique du football aux plus jeunes, mais aussi en même temps qui bénéficient de la pédagogie et des structures qui sont mises en place par le Paris Saint-Germain. Donc voilà, on fait nous aussi avec notre équipe, avec nos joueuses, on va faire des rencontres avec les jeunes. Il y a aussi des académies en France. Quand on était allé à Miami pour le ICC, on a rencontré des jeunes qui faisaient partie des académies. C'est assez... moi j'aime bien rencontrer et voir le club et le logo du Paris Saint-Germain représenté. Et surtout pour l'accès aux jeunes, je trouve ça super. Ils vont passer une belle journée. Ils vont s'en souvenir.
It is a very important part of the club now, this youth development at this level. And we even see some professional players like Lorenzo Caligari and Alec Georgen, who came through the academy, the Paris Saint-Germain Academy, before signing professional contracts with the club as well. So there is that element as well. It's not just a soccer school in the summer. It's a real viable pathway for young kids to have the chance from all over the world, if they're good enough, to make it all the way to the Paris Saint-Germain first team. Let's talk football now, Laure, this season. Perhaps with the women's team first.
Okay.
A good win over Lille recently, and of course started the year with that 8-0 victory in the French Cup as well, defending French Cup winners, the women's team. You've been very busy with the squad. We saw Nadia Nadim signing as well. Great new addition for the squad as well, and a woman, an inspirational woman with an incredible story to tell. How is the women's team looking? We know this year we're competing really very tightly with Olympique Lyonnais for the championship, for domestic honours.
Alors pour les féminines, l'année 2019 commence bien. On a commencé par un match de coupe et contre une équipe de Rennes qui est d'une division inférieure, mais les filles ont très bien joué et ont remporté le match assez logiquement. Et c'est vrai qu'on va la défendre cette coupe.
8-0. 8-0.
Ouais, oui, pardon, 8-0 et cette coupe on veut la défendre parce qu'on a vécu un moment exceptionnel l'année dernière. Donc ça commençait très bien et j'en profite pour féliciter mes joueuses dont je suis très fière. On a après aussi eu la chance de faire signer une nouvelle joueuse, Nadia Nadim, qui est une internationale danoise, donc d'expérience, qui a 31 ans maintenant. Elle les a eu le 2 janvier, c'est pour ça, donc j'hésitais.
Just signed from Manchester City.
Elle arrive de Manchester City et c'est une joueuse, c'est vrai que je connais très bien, j'ai joué contre elle plusieurs fois à l'époque et je la connais bien aussi en tant que personne et je suis très très heureuse qu'elle arrive au Paris Saint-Germain parce qu'elle va apporter déjà beaucoup d'expérience et sa qualité de jeu c'est indéniable. Mais c'est aussi une joueuse qui a une histoire particulière, c'est une réfugiée afghane qui a connu la guerre, qui a malheureusement perdu son père et a dû fuir l'Afghanistan. Donc aujourd'hui, elle s'est retrouvée réfugiée au Danemark. Elle est heureuse et c'est comme ça qu'elle est devenue footballeuse. Donc j'espère qu'elle fera découvrir par l'intermédiaire des médias à Paris Saint-Germain son histoire.
Fantastic story, Nadia Nadim, who, as Laura just said, was an Afghanistan refugee who lost her father during the war, killed by the Taliban. She moved to Denmark. It gave her a real chance at life and to become the woman she is and to play football, become an international. I think nearly 100 caps for Denmark. played all over, captain of Denmark, played in England, now playing in France, where she said she dreamed of playing. Even 10 years ago, I think she almost signed. So great to have her finally at Paris Saint-Germain. The women's team with that great start, and I think there's a hush has just come over the stadium. We are, in fact, I can see them. They're just coming out of the dressing room now. So we are ready for the players to come out.
On attend ce moment quand même depuis quelques heures. Hein.
Well, we've only been on air for a number of minutes, and how are the players about to come out? We've got the crowd revving up, and here they come. I can see Thiago Silva leading the team out. A great moment for the people of Qatar, this. Well, we might, Law, just be quiet for a couple of moments and let's hear the reaction of the players as they head across and say hello to the public here. Well, we can hear the reaction, Law, as the fans see Kylian Mbappe on the big screen. He's obviously one of the huge fans, isn't he? And there's a big group photo coming here now in front of the VIP section of the crowd.
On a entendu des cris, forcément. Mbappé, aujourd'hui, il a pris une envergure exceptionnelle et il le mérite bien. C'est incroyable. Bon, il y a quand même Neymar qu'il ne faudra pas oublier. Ça va devenir vraiment ça va être l'idole, je pense, Kylian des jeunes. Et c'est bien, on a besoin d'idoles comme ça, on a besoin de vecteurs et positifs.
And the two of them get along so well, don't they? Kylian and Neymar. They have such an understanding on the pitch. They get along very well off the pitch as well. It's a squad, and we'll hopefully have a few guests come throughout training to have a chat to us about the squad and how well the players get along, and the impact of Thomas Tuchel as well this season as a new coach. But it's certainly a side, Law, that we've seen so far this season that have had a couple of reverses. The loss to Liverpool, the loss to Guingamp more recently in the Coupe de la Ligue, but we've also seen that this team has a character, has a soul, and has that ability to bounce back. There's a certain
Please join me in welcoming Saint-Germain who will be attending this training session.
Un autre envers du décor, la sécurité, elle est juste primordiale. Faut pas oublier que c'est des stars et qu'il y a des personnes qui peuvent transgresser les règles. C'est important qu'ils soient bien protégés et que leur intégrité soit protégée aussi.
Kylian's almost started a mini riot by shaking hands with a couple of fans who have gone for their photos.
Donc là, ils vont faire effectivement une photo avec les jeunes dont on parlait tout à l'heure de l'académie qui vient d'ouvrir.
They say never work with children and animals because they're so hard to control, the kids, and it's understandable as well with seeing their stars, their idols, and these players so desperate to be close to them. It's not an easy one trying to get this photo.
Ceux qui vont passer une grosse journée, c'est les coachs, je pense, tellement ils vont être épuisés. Non, mais c'est sûr que on peut comprendre les jeunes quand ils croisent leur idole, qui soient hyper excités, difficiles à contrôler. Bon là, je vois effectivement les jeunes qui veulent absolument taper dans la main de Neymar. voilà, on leur pardonne quand même parce que c'est l'adrénaline, c'est le football, c'est la passion.
I think they are.
Trop content.
Well, that's what's great to see, isn't it? It really is great to see the kids so happy. This side, of course, has 3 French World Cup winners in it, as well as the likes of an international star of Neymar, one of the best players in the world, undeniably. Julian Draxler, who won the World Cup with Germany as well. We've got players at the very highest level, and it's a fantastic opportunity for these kids. A privileged opportunity for these kids.
Oui, et puis je pense qu'ils vont pas avoir cette chance beaucoup de fois. Hein. Voilà, je pense qu'il faut saisir hein, ces minutes-là. Ils vont observer, ils vont grignoter toutes les minutes, ils vont regarder l'entraînement, regarder les gens, même l'échauffement. Je pense qu'ils vont le savourer. Voilà, de voir tous ces sourires, c'est important. C'est ça aussi le foot, hein. C'est la joie de vivre.
Absolutely. It's well, you ask the players what they do it for, and all their advice for young kids is that the kids just enjoy it. The players know as well, the players and you too, Law, sacrifice so much to reach that point. If you didn't have the love and the joy for it, you wouldn't do it, would you?
Oui, la base c'est le plaisir. Quand on perd cette notion de plaisir, c'est vrai qu'on perd la notion de passion du foot. Et c'est ce qui nous fait tous vivre quand on est joueuse ou joueur de football. C'est juste la passion qu'on a pour ce sport, de marquer des buts, de jouer, de s'entraîner. Voilà, on est des compétiteurs. Et maintenant que j'ai arrêté, je peux vous dire, c'est pas si facile. C'est une adrénaline qu'on a en moins, c'est des moments qu'on perd. On va les chercher ailleurs, mais voilà, je les ai savourés ces moments-là. Et rien que de les voir, je ressens quand même encore des émotions. Donc je suis contente de ne pas être restée trop loin. Sinon, ça aurait été trop difficile. Donc, voilà.
I spoke to Maxwell, who has the same position as you with the men's team now, and the same thing. Max, the professional who's... You have your life. It's a different life now.
Oui, c'est un saut dans le vide, hein, complètement. Maintenant, ça va parce que je m'éclate dans ma nouvelle vie, j'ai des challenges. Et c'est surtout ça, moi, qui me fait vivre et avancer, c'est d'avoir un peu la pression, de faire des lives comme aujourd'hui, de faire des émissions à la télé, de faire des instants l'or qui fonctionnent parce que j'ai envie d'être performante, tout comme je l'ai été quand j'étais joueuse. Voilà, mais la notion de plaisir, pour revenir à ça, quand on vieillit, il faut savoir aussi s'arrêter. Et le plaisir, il commençait à partir un petit peu avec les blessures, les douleurs et la fatigue psychologique. On fait beaucoup de sacrifices et à un moment, ça pèse trop sur le mental. Et j'ai senti que j'avais basculé dans un plaisir que je n'avais plus, justement. Et quand j'ai senti que ce plaisir, il était plus comme avant, je me suis dit, je suis prête, vraiment. Donc... le bonheur, le plaisir, c'est la base et il faut le redire à ces jeunes. Voilà, on peut avancer apparemment. Merci Dorian.
Dorian Godard there, the first team manager, just walking past and bellowing instructions to club media alike. Lord, just one more moment. Yes, exactly. We're spinning around on our chairs. One more question about that then. I think for you personally, the end to your career, it was so important for you to come back that last time, wasn't it? Because the last even 2 years were very difficult with injuries, particularly the last season. But to come back for that final glory, those final matches. I remember the 3 matches against Lyon in a week. That incredible feeling around the club, and that you were part of it as well was important for everyone. Sabrina Delanois, who's another one who hung up the boots as well. To live that with her, to be in those final moments, you have to mark the point, don't you? You can't. It's sad if you just disappear.
Non, c'est difficile, mais franchement, quand on a pris la décision et quand on sait que c'est le moment, ça fait bizarre, mais à un moment, je me sens tellement heureuse aujourd'hui dans cette nouvelle vie parce que je sais que je me suis pas trompée sur le timing. Donc ça aussi, ça peut être différent en fonction des personnes qui ont arrêté. Et avec Maxwell, on en a discuté. Aujourd'hui, il est heureux aussi dans ses nouvelles fonctions, il passe aussi des diplômes de management, donc il s'éclate. Voilà, l'essentiel c'est de trouver un chemin qui nous plaît quand on sent que celui d'être joueuse ou d'être joueur n'est plus celui qui nous rend heureuse ou le timing n'est moins bon. Donc voilà, après j'avais la volonté de revenir, j'ai eu des périodes compliquées avec le football. Et par contre, il était hors de question que je termine en dehors des terrains, donc je me suis battue et j'ai bien fait de me battre puisqu'on a terminé sur un titre et ça restera un des plus beaux moments de ma carrière et la fête après était très sympa aussi.
What about then when we think about someone like Gianluigi Buffon? We'll let you go in a moment, but Gianluigi, who's 40 years of age now, retired, but is still going strong now. Here he is still going. Everyone is different, aren't they? Everyone has their different approach to the game and their different needs, I guess. Gianluigi needs to keep playing, needs one more challenge.
Oui, c'est un exemple de longévité exceptionnelle et j'ai la chance, en tout cas, qu'il soit dans notre club aujourd'hui. Et vraiment, c'est un plaisir de voir une personne, d'avoir encore autant de motivation et autant de... voilà, il a faim de titre encore, il le dit aujourd'hui et il a raison, il a encore le niveau. Donc je pense que là, il a raison de continuer et son corps va très bien, donc qu'il continue. Donc tant qu'il peut continuer, je pense aussi à Thierry Omeyer, si on peut changer de sport un petit peu. Thierry Omeyer, voilà, c'est un des meilleurs gardiens du monde de handball. Et si aujourd'hui il n'arrête pas, c'est parce qu'il a déjà le club a la volonté de le garder parce que c'est encore un des meilleurs. Donc les meilleurs éléments ne doivent pas arrêter, c'est pas ce que je suis en train de dire. Mais quand on sent qu'on ne prend plus de plaisir, il faut savoir dire au revoir.
Well, Paris Saint-Germain have had that ability to keep their best players, I think, for as long as they wanted and the players wanted. But speaking of au revoirs, we'll let you go, Laure. We'll head back and we'll watch training and see if there's anybody else about who can come and chat to us. You've got lots of work to do to follow the GPSs.
Je vais aller voir qui c'est qui court.
We'll check out who's running and who's not running. Thank you, Laure. We'll see you at the end.
C'était un plaisir.
You'll be back
Yes,
to say goodbye.
Un vrai au revoir, tout à
Parfait.
fait, tout à l'heure.
Okay, merci
Good luck,
beaucoup.
Kobe. See you
Thank you.
soon.
Well, we will leave you now to go and look at training, and hopefully we'll be back in a couple of moments' time with perhaps a former Parisian player who I think is here in Doha and will be joining us to have a chat and talk about Paris Saint-Germain in Qatar as well as Paris Saint-Germain this season.
Germain, Germain.
Well, we just saw there a fan running onto the pitch and quickly stopped by security, but still Neymar Jr. coming across and just making sure that the young supporter, who wasn't a young kid by any stretch, still got his selfie, so has something to show for what might end up being a long night for him. As let's hope the rest of the fans remain calm and respectful and enjoy the moment here without trying to get onto the pitch. And obviously, wherever Paris Saint-Germain go, security is very, very tight, not to be encouraged. Well, you can see the goalkeepers warming up there. There's Sébastien Cibois, Thomas Chénaud there with the World Cup winner Alphonse Areola and Gianluca Spinelli, the goalkeeping coach, the Italian, who arrived at the same time as Gianluigi Buffon, who's just sidelined with a calf strain at the moment. And I can tell you that we will have Didier Domi joining us in a few moments' time during the live training session to talk about the former Paris Saint-Germain, Newcastle United, Leeds United as well, Olympiacos and Espanyol in Barcelona as well. A fantastic career with silverware as well for Didier Domi. And he'll be joining us a little bit later, the former Parisian that lives here in Doha in Qatar. And we're also going to have a word from the current Paris Saint-Germain sporting coordinator, Maxwell Scherer, as well, who'll be joining us to have a chat about this training camp here in Doha, and also the first team and how the team is going. There's plenty to talk about for Paris Saint-Germain, and plenty of big challenges coming up, looking to bounce back after that exit from the Coupe de la Ligue, 50 points in Ligue 1, and of course the Champions League coming up against Manchester United. So we'll be back, dropping in every few minutes with plenty of news. You can see the chant of Neymar goes up. The players doing some rondos just to keep getting warmed up. It's one of the main skills that all the football clubs do these days. It looks like just a game, but it serves a huge purpose when you're out on the football pitch. And now the players are moving up for their next training drill as well. We'll be back with a couple of guests in a couple of moments' time. Okay, well, welcome back to training. Just watching it on the big screens here at the Khalifa Stadium, one of the stadiums for the 2022 World Cup. And I'm very pleased to say we've been joined by Maxwell Scherer. Max, thank you for coming on. Pleasure to have you here. We don't talk to you that much anymore that you've moved upstairs.
We have no time anymore, but it's a pleasure also to be here sitting with you guys to share this good moment from the club and from the players.
It's great to see so many people coming out. We didn't know how many people were going to be here. At one point, they shut the gates because they thought there were going to be too many people. They've reopened them again, but it looks like there's about 10,000 people here. It's important for Qatar to have Paris Saint-Germain come here, isn't it? Apart from the fact that it's good for Paris with the facilities, with a way to do a winter training camp, but it's great for the people of Qatar to have what is in some ways their club as well, part of their club, come here too.
Of course, I think we feel at home here, as we know the history from the city and recently from the club. So we feel home. The facilities are amazing here. The atmosphere from the players, from the team is amazing. So everybody's happy to be here. I think to share two things, most of all the passion of football, but also PSG values, and to be here, to train hard and to have these great facilities available for us is amazing.
You were a player that didn't necessarily love this side of the game, the marketing side of always doing interviews, of making television commercials, but it's. But yesterday, it seemed like everyone pretty much enjoyed the day because it's very demanding for the players. They're here to play football. They're footballers. We asked them to do a lot of different things now, which wasn't the case perhaps 10 or 15 years ago. But everyone seems to be getting on. Everyone seems to be playing along with the game, if you like.
Yes, of course. I think it all depends on the activities. And yesterday we had great activities in the whole city of Doha. We share on groups. The players, they really enjoy it to do the activities and to participate in this promotion of the club here in Qatar. So it's always is a win-win situation when the players are happy, when the club needs anything, and everybody gets positive feedback from the activity. So it's a win-win situation. Everybody's happy, and now focus on training because we cannot forget that we have a lot of games coming up, and we have high goals to reach. So let's focus on trainings and prepare the team as best as we can.
Well, I think while we've got you here, the fans would love to hear a couple of questions about the football. How's it going, and what's been happening so far on the football pitch? It was a fantastic start to the season. We saw the team bounce back from that loss to Liverpool, where the team showed great character, particularly in Europe, with big matches against Napoli and Liverpool and Red Star Belgrade. I think perhaps at the start people didn't realise just how big that group was and how tough that group was. We see Liverpool top of the Premier League now, Napoli having so hard to beat, and they've missed out completely now into the Europa League. It was a very, very tough group, and Paris managed to finish top. It was a fantastic result.
Was amazing. We knew it. I think people demands probably too fast things, and we knew it, that the game against Liverpool was too early in the season. We cannot forget that we had players coming really late after the World Cup, so we started preparation with few players, and physically we were not ready to play in the highest level as Liverpool demands over there. But step by step, I think the coach did an amazing job with his staff to put the players physically available in the best conditions to continue during the Ligue 1 and also in the Champions League. And we showed that we have a lot of qualities, we have capacity to go really far. But the main goal is to go step by step, focus on games. We have a lot of pressure. We demand a lot from the players, so it's a lot of competitions, a lot of games, and let's focus on each game.
How have you seen the role of Thomas Tuchel, and what has he changed? We know he's very meticulous. He talks a lot about managing the minutes of players. Everything is timed down to the minute. He's changed a lot of the normal practices around the club as well. What the players eat, drink, how they train. Everything is right down. We say that Deutsche Qualität, if you like, but really, has he changed that much? And we also see there's maybe a different spirit around the team at the moment.
I think he has a lot of knowledge from the game. This is for sure his best quality as a coach. But there is one thing that he does amazing with the players is the communication. He has a very open communication and very honest communication to the players, and I think the group really accepted, and the group is training really hard to give him also the best as they can, and he's giving this organization, this way of training that please the players, and we can feel the happiness. The atmosphere is really positive. We gain confidence, we gain a lot of maturity, and I think we are growing really fast. We are growing in a positive way, and let's hope that we still have 6 months to go. Very hard end of season, because now important games are coming, difficult games, and let's hope that we continue like this and do the best as we can to reach what the club demands.
One of those objectives is to go as far as possible in Europe. It's never easy, as we've seen each year, how tough it is. There's going to be no reunion for you with Jose Mourinho, unfortunately, which looked like it might be the case when we drew Manchester United. He's gone, but Manchester United, are they still the same team, or are they a different team now under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
I think they have, of course, obviously they have the same team, but the management change also things inside. They have been playing lately really good football, winning a lot of points and games in Premier League. But for us, it doesn't change anything. We respect totally the club, the players, as we did with Mourinho and now with Solskjaer. I think the respect is always in our side. We respect them a lot. It will be tough. Before that, we have tough games in the French Cup and in the Liga that we need to focus and we need to get points and need to go through the phases in French Cup. But it for us doesn't change a lot. We respect it and we will do our best, and we will be focused on going to Old Trafford. Fantastic stadium, fantastic atmosphere to play football, and let's hope that we do a good result there and coming here in a good conditions to Parc des Princes.
Have you played there? You played it at Old
Yeah, I
Trafford?
did,
With
amazing. I did with Inter Milan, and was amazing. It was a friendly game still, and the stadium was full and unbelievable stadium. A lot of history. I think you come inside and you breathe football. Is what the player like.
That's right. The loss in the Coupe de la Ligue. We know it was a trophy that the club had really made their own for the last 5 seasons. How was that? How were the first days following that defeat? And I know we play Guingamp again this weekend. There'll be a little feeling of revenge in the air for that. But to lose that title, was it more than just a defeat, or are you confident the side will bounce back quickly from that?
We bounced really back, winning the last game in Ligue 1. I think it was a very strange match, very strange in the way that we controlled normally the whole match, and we had 3 penalties against us in the second half. I don't want to say anything about referees and decisions. It was what it was, but it was a good lesson. I think we learned from it. It's the best that we can do as a player, as a sportive guys, is to learn from the mistakes. And I think that the team did amazing to bounce back and to win in Amiens and continue. I think, of course, we lost not only a game, we lost the opportunity to fight for a title that we like to win. But it's part of football. We need to stand up again and fight for the objectives that we have still during the season.
We spoke to Laure Boulot just before, who's the sporting coordinator for the women's team. Your job as well. You have a year more than her in the job. She's new to it. She said that the change at first was difficult. Just a personal question for you, Max, because a lot of the fans hold you very close to their hearts as well for your loyal service. How has that change been for you? And are you happy in the job now? Are you changing it? Are you seeing new opportunities in the job?
Of course, you learn it from it. As I'm doing 1.5 years, I learned it a lot. Of course, I have people around me that shows me a lot of things. In the meantime, I'm also studying, so if I know what Laure is going through. Very hard for us to stop football. We are never prepared enough. But as long as we are open to learn, I think everything goes good. The most important is to give our best for the club. I think the club gave us both an amazing opportunity, and we need to give them back as much as we can.
Fantastic, Max. Thank you very much. A pleasure as always. And we'll let you enjoy watching training. I know that that's one of your favorite parts of your new job. All right, cheers. Thanks, Max. We'll be back again in a few moments' time. We'll let you keep watching training, and we'll see who else we can bring up to the table. Welcome back again to the Khalifa Stadium. Robbie Thompson with PSG2. Just had a goal scored there and the roar from the crowd. I'm joined by Jason Burt of the Daily Telegraph in England to have a little bit of a chat about Paris Saint-Germain on the other side of the channel, as the French would say. It goes the other way for the English, I guess, but it's a French side that have really put French football on the map over the last, since the Qatari owners took over in 2011. How has this rise been perceived in England, Jason?
I think there's a lot of interest in Paris Saint-Germain in England. I think they're regarded now as one of Europe's superpowers, really, a club that actually would be taken seriously at every level, a serious contender to win the Champions League. I think there's also envy in certain quarters in terms of the amount of the players they've brought in, the kind of stars they've got, and the fascination as to whether they will go on and win the Champions League, because again, that's one of their big ambitions, and a lot of English clubs want to win it as well.
Well, we saw, under Laurent Blanc, the side made those 4 quarter-final appearances in a row, and then struggled. That defeated Manchester City, then Barcelona, Real Madrid, the last 2 seasons in the last 16 as well. Drawn Manchester United now in the next round, a Manchester United side. Well, first of all, perhaps we'll talk about Paris Saint-Germain's group phase with that first loss to Liverpool, and the club received a lot of criticism in England as well about that defeat, about losing to Liverpool. Liverpool were very, very strong in that first game as well. But Paris managed to turn things around. A group with Napoli as well. It was a tough group, and Red Star Belgrade, as we saw as well.
It was the hardest group. I think it was an incredibly difficult group. I think Paris Saint-Germain deserve a lot of credit for getting through that group and winning that group. I covered both the games against Liverpool. The first game, I think, came quite early in the season for PSG. I think Liverpool were always going to be much more intense and much more up to pace than they were. I think it was a hard game. But they only lost it 3-2, and it was only a late injury time goal that they lost by. And then in Paris, I thought they were superb. They probably played as well as anyone's played against Liverpool this season, and I think they deserved to win the group. And I think they deserve a lot of credit for getting through that group. And I think Napoli were very unfortunate to lose out. It was an incredibly hard group. It was the hardest group to get through, and I think that should actually stand them in good stead now going into the knockout phases, because sometimes they've cruised through the group and then they've come up against a very good team in the knockout. I think they've been very, very unfortunate actually in the last few years. I think they've drawn difficult games. They've obviously played Barcelona a lot and so on. They've been unlucky, really. I think this tie against Manchester United is quite intriguing. I think if Jose Mourinho was still at Manchester United, I would say absolutely 100% PSG would go through. But obviously they won 6 games under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I think it brings Manchester United back into the equation, although I'd still say PSG are favourites.
The last victory for Manchester United was one where perhaps we really saw the new spirit of this Manchester United side being probably outplayed by Tottenham for a lot of the game. The best player for Manchester United was De Gea.
Very, very good. Rashford is playing well, Lingard is playing well. But I think the big difference is Pogba, and you see the change in him now as a midfielder who's much more expressive. His passing range is being shown. Defensively, though, they're very poor. And actually, this could be a really exciting tie. You could see a lot of goals scored in this tie, maybe by both teams even. I think that the fear for PSG will be, if David De Gea plays like that again, they're going to have to really be precise in the shootings. I think Tottenham actually started to panic a little bit at the end, and they almost felt they couldn't beat De Gea, but actually you can't keep depending on a goalkeeper to do that, and especially not in the Champions League.
This Paris Saint-Germain side with this myriad of stars, this plethora of stars up front, particularly in attack, the pace of Kylian Mbappe, his star has risen so much in the last year. How's that been perceived? Because we know in England and in world football we talk a lot about the money that's spent. It's one thing spending all the money, it's another thing what Thomas Tuchel has done here, which is to mould that together into...
No, absolutely. I think, PSG have spent a lot of money, but so have a lot of clubs. And I think a club like Paris Saint-Germain, a club like Manchester City have had to spend a lot of money to catch up with some of these bigger clubs. They've had years and years of spending lots of money. They're only saying that PSG are spending lots of money because they're worried about them. They wouldn't be saying it otherwise. And if you look at a player like Kylian Mbappe, it probably is value for money as well, because as a young player, stay at PSG for a long time, is a world superstar already, and it's only going to get better. You look at that top tier of players, Messi and Ronaldo, he's now in that company. He will go on and win Ballon d'Ors. You're looking at him and thinking this is a player who is going to dominate world football. So therefore, all the other clubs are probably jealous that PSG have got him. And we saw that we did at the World Cup, for example, in the summer, and he's doing it with PSG. And I think there's a lot of envy in England as well. And I was fortunate enough to interview him. very level-headed young man. You look at him, you talk to him, you think, this guy's only going one way and he's going to get better and better.
He knows where he's headed as well.
Absolutely, he knows where he's headed. I think he's got that sort of maturity and understanding of his ability, but also what he needs to do to get to the top. And you know yourself, when you interview top players, they've got something about them that tells you, you know why they get to where they want to be, and he's got that.
You interviewed another one of our top players as well, Gianluigi Buffon.
Yeah.
He's such a gentleman, and it's been said, it's a cliche. I mean, a player with those many years in the game at the highest level as well. But what were your impressions of the man? Because that's one of the reasons why he joined Paris, why Paris was so desperate, is for his character and his ability to have an influence on the rest of the squad.
Well, it was a real pleasure to interview him. He gave me a big hug afterwards. It's very unusual as well, but that's probably quite usual for him, I imagine. Seemed very, very happy, very smiley. He's loving life at Paris Saint-Germain. I think he thought he was retiring last season when he called it a day at Juventus. PSG called him, and now look where he is. And I think the influence of something like that in the dressing room alone is invaluable. You know, he's been there, he's done everything, he's played for such a long time, he's a player of real stature, of world renown. They will listen to him in the dressing room, they'll learn from him. And I think at this top level in particular, when you talk about winning the Champions League, it's a mentality thing. When somebody like Buffon has got that mentality, you know, he will drive the team on and be a good influence, I think.
I can't let you go as an Englishman talking to an Australian, but from a French football club. The World Cup last year, France winning it with this squad where we saw in particular Kylian and his pace and his ability to change the game. But England was also a great World Cup for them, probably the best since 1990 when they made the semi-finals as well. And with the next World Cup coming here, and about this time of the year as well, which I think is interesting that we're here in January as well. It's not the sweltering conditions that everyone was worried about. Everyone says that England team's going to be better in 4 years' time. The French team has a lot of young talents as well. How was that French victory perceived? And also the feeling in England, it looked like an amazing 5 weeks for English football.
I was out there in Russia for the whole tournament. I cover England. I'm the England correspondent for the Telegraph as well. It was a joy to be there, really. I think it was the best tournament I've ever covered with England. It was one where it felt like they were part of it. Often we're home before the postcards, as they say. But no, I think there's a lot of excitement around this English team and around Gareth Southgate. As you say, they've got a very young team, a team that's going to develop, get better. But as you also say, so are France. And much was made about England being one of the youngest teams at the tournament. Well, France were younger. So yeah, exactly. So they're not going to get any worse, are they? But I think there's a real excitement that at least England now are more competitive, actually enjoying playing for England as well. As a journalist, it can be such a grind, you know, covering tournaments where they don't even seem to want to be there. Didn't get that impression at all. They're very excited about Qatar 2022 because I think they think they'll be at their peak then. And as you say, I think the conditions will be ideal for football. And I think it's a tournament that England will give it a real go at.
I remember seeing an interview with that golden generation, the Ferdinands, Lampards, Gerrards, everyone saying when they'd go and play for England, it was like, oh, now we've got to go for England. They couldn't wait to get back with their club sides, and they'd have other Brazilians in their team who were like going away with the Brazilian national team and coming back all completely recharged and everything. And they didn't have that feeling. Perhaps that is something that changes, and that's just a mentality thing, isn't it? To want to go and play for England, to want and go and play for your country.
The phrase that's always used around England is the fear factor. Also, that the shirt wearing heavy on their shoulders. Those two things have gone, and I think Gareth Southgate in particular needs to take an awful lot of credit for that. I think they've struck lucky with him. He was the England under-21 coach, so what's happened there is he's brought an awful lot of these young players through. So they've known him since they were very, very young, look up to him, respect him. And the great phrase he always uses with us as journalists, he says, what's the worst that can happen? Well, for England, the worst has already happened. It ain't going to get any worse. So go to Russia and give it a go and see what happens. And lo and behold, they get to the semi-finals. And now they're going to go to the European Championships in 2020 and the World Cup after that with a real sense of belief that actually they can be competitive. Not that they're going to win it, but they can at least go there and enjoy it. And if you can liberate players like that, and it's the same with a club or anything, if you give that sense of freedom and enjoyment, surely they will play better. And I think England have made a massive step away from that sort of fear factor, away from being a little bit of an embarrassment in world football, really. And they're much more competitive again.
Well, we just spoke to our sporting coordinator, Maxwell, the former player, and he said that's one of the keys to Thomas Tuchel's reign here as well. That communication, that ability to make the players feel like they want to give something liberated, as you said, and ready to play. It's a key to modern football. You have to pamper to these superstars to a certain extent, as well as keep a tight rein.
But I also think you have to understand them and understand what motivates them. And also, there's a big phrase that, again, is being used in football quite a lot, is buy-in. You've got to get the players to buy into what you're trying to do with them, but also to let them express themselves and believe they're part of something. And I think the days of telling a player what to do, ordering them around the pitch, they're gone. And it's not like that in society anymore. And people say, oh, they're millionaires, pampered this, pampered that. No, they're just young people who've got opinions, and I don't have a problem with it at all. Okay, they earn a lot of money, they're superstars, they have a lot of people, a lot of fans and so on, but actually they just want to do well in their careers. Exactly, and I think a coach like Thomas Tuchel is quite innovative, hard-working, intense, but at the same time understands them as people and tries to stimulate them as people, both mentally as well as physically.
Fantastic, Jason. We'll let you go. Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back with perhaps one more guest before the end of training. In English, Didier Domi joining us here on PSG TV for this live training session at the Khalifa Stadium, one of the World Cup stadiums, I repeat, for the 2022 World Cup, with all its air conditioning vents all around the stadium. It is one of the things we heard about Didier, and it's true. You live here now. Qatar, they said they would do it. It looks like they're going to do it.
They're gonna do it, yeah. You don't know that technology, but it really works. You know, there's another stadium called El Sad, and even if it's 50 degrees outside, you will feel cool.
Well, Didier, you're not just here because you live here. You're a former Parisian. You came through the youth academy at Paris Saint-Germain. You played in the first team in the late 90s. You won the French Cup and the League Cup. You played a Cup Winners' Cup final against Barcelona, against the great Ronaldo, the first one.
The first one. Not the real one, the first one.
Yeah, an illustrious career. You left to play football in England. You came back again. You went to Spain. You went to Greece. Where does Paris Saint-Germain remain in your heart?
You know, I was born in Sarcelles, north of Paris, so and I always went to the stadium. It was not a dream, but at that time, of course, I was a big fan of Paris Saint-Germain. So the biggest place in my heart is Paris, because I grew up, my brothers, everybody, the family, they're all fans of Paris. So of course it's in my heart, and it always stay, because I turned out professional very young as well, with Nicolas Anelka. So it was very, very special. Luis Fernandez brought me into that game. So, and be part of the academy, to go to Parc des Princes, to be in suburb of Paris. It's all that things make me very proud to be a Parisian and then a fan of Paris Saint-Germain.
We talk about a lot this current Paris Saint-Germain squad, and I'll get your thoughts on this squad in a moment's time, but the likes of Neymar, Buffon, Di Maria, Mbappe, these incredible players. But you played with some fairly handy players yourself in your two spells at Paris. There was the Rai Leonardo era as well, with some fantastic players there, all the France internationals that were in that squad, the veterans that won those cups. And then the second generation when you came back as well after Newcastle United, the likes of Ronaldinho as well, of JJ Okocha, who joined in 98 Paris Saint-Germain. Where do they compare to the likes of Neymar and Kylian and Di Maria?
Wow, I think
no one likes to compare between generations either, but we're talking top-class players that Paris have always been able to attract, haven't they?
Of course, especially the Brazilian comparison. First of all, we're all the same family. That's the most important. So
still Paris Saint-Germain.
It's still Paris Saint-Germain. So either it was the 70s or 80s with Mustafa Daleb or Safet Sujita. After, everybody likes to compare, and of course I understand them, and that's a very good question. But first of all, we're all the same family, Paris Saint-Germain. And I think especially the Brazilian and even the other nationality, they liked to be in Paris. They like Saint-Germain. They like how the people, they treated them, and the Parc des Princes. But when you look at that team now, that's another story. That's another story. Why? Because when Ronaldinho and all that player came, they were at the beginning, and now we have a Neymar who's already a superstar at the peak. Exactly. When you see Thiago Silva, he was in Milan and was a monstro, the best defender in the world, and he's still one of the best. So that's it. And the amount of player, even if we had Okocha and Ronaldinho, very good generation with Nicolas Anelka. This one is very special. They're all world-class international. When you have a international break, there's nobody in the team. They all went.
Not easy for the coach.
Not easy for the coach, as the young old people. So that's another spells. There's no comparison, because they're all top-class player. They're all well-known in the world, and of course the others was very special. But that team as a team, it's unbelievable. The amount of quality. It's really good for Paris.
You live here in Qatar now. How is this Paris Saint-Germain side perceived here? How is it received here when they come for a camp like this, for a training camp? What's the feeling in Qatar? Are they proud? Are they excited? Is there a special feeling around here?
It's a big proud because now they have the relation with Paris through Qatar when they come in 2011. So especially the fan of football, even if they love all the other club, they're really proud to have that team and to see those names and what they're achieving first in France. Because of course we all want to win the Champions League, but to see every time winning the Cup of League, the French Cup, the League One, this is the main thing first, and then the Champions League will come. So to have that thing coming every year, not once every 4 years, that's a real proud for the Qataris people, and you can see today. Nobody, even us who lives in Qatar, would have expected a lot of people like this, and
10,000 people here.
10,000. So we're very proud, in the Khalifa Stadium. It will be a stadium for the World Cup. So I think everybody's surprised, but everybody's happy.
I brought you away from just watching training as well. It's for an ex-player to just sit here and watch this. We've just seen a penalty scored, and the youngster Meten Gouklu, who picked himself up from an injury, is back into the game. But to watch training like that, to see that quality here in Khalifa Stadium, and do you get a new appreciation from the players? Because I know you commentate the Ligue 1 matches, but to see it here in the flesh.
No, it's really good because you see all the details. The technique of people like Neymar or for Thiago Silva. So you see everything, and we all footballers. When you play football, you see that rectangle vert. That's really special.
The white line.
The white line. So when you see them like this, and even the Titi Parisien as well.
Yeah.
I've been watching Nsoki, I've been watching Dagba, Alphonse is there still. There is a lot of Titi Parisien, so it's a big joy to see all the stars with the young one, and I'm very happy.
It's very important. That was to their credit of the Qatari owners when they came in. One of the things was to rebuild that youth academy, to make sure that the best elements would be here. And we see it every year, the new players coming through. And as you say, Dagba, who started the season, and Soki, who are still there and have been given their chance under Thomas Tuchel. Perhaps that's a way to move into a little chat about Thomas Tuchel as well. He comes with a new mentality, perhaps from German football, which really modernized football in many respects after the 2006 World Cup. That idea of giving youngsters a chance, of being tactically astute, of playing with courage and fearlessness, this attacking football. How have you seen Thomas Tuchel's arrival at Paris Saint-Germain?
It's a big chance for them. First of all, because we have a very good academy. We have to say that you just see how many players played in Germany or in England are from Paris Saint-Germain and didn't make it in Paris. So first of all, that's a big chance for them. We have a very good academy because every year you have people coming out from this academy. I forget Moussa Diaby, who's very good. So when you have a coach like this who's done the same thing in Mayence, in Dortmund, because he didn't coach in very big or top club, even though Dortmund is a top club for me. That's a big chance for them, and he's not scared, to put them out. He's not scared, to put them in the training. As long as they're good, they will play, and I'm very happy for the club, for the academy, because if the players are good, they will come out and play, and you can see Nsoki is playing. There's no problem. Diaby is always, going up in the team. So I'm very happy that Tuchel had this mentality of young players.
You've seen the side playing this season, 50 points in the league after just 18 matches, qualified top of the group in the Champions League. The tie coming up against Manchester United. How have you seen the season so far? And that tie against Manchester United, everyone is looking forward to it. There are other matches, of course, between now and then, but that's the next big one on the horizon is that match against Manchester United.
Yeah, first of all, the team did well to analyze his mistake at the beginning of the season, especially Liverpool, and that's the work of Tuchel, because a coach has to analyze, to see, but to make the right decision, and he made some right decision. For example, at halftime against Napoli, to come back at 3 at the back, to have a better defensive structure, like he likes to say,
does.
and is but it's very important. And he managed, to get the team, of course, with the players, to be better, either to play in 3 or 4-4-2 with Neymar and Di Maria on the side, and determined first of the group, which is the very good things. This is Napoli and Liverpool. Don't forget, they are a very good team through Ancelotti and the club, because they are the first one in Liverpool. So that's allow us to be very happy for the future. Of course, it's Man United, and Manchester United is far, far better. But the only thing when I see them is they concede still a lot of chances. So we have a good chances to go to quarterfinal if we're serious, because it's still a big club. They have a good coach with Solskjaer, because the team is far better in the head. They're free now, so it's going to be a good opposition.
They also have a certain Paul Pogba as well. Even if we have Kylian and Alphonse and Presnel Kimpembe, who won the World Cup, they have a World Cup winner of their own from France, and Anthony Martial, who was with Kylian at Monaco as well before they both moved on. All of that important as we see that training is coming to a close here. Just applauding the fans. So much to look forward to this season for this Paris Saint-Germain side, and those ties against Manchester United. There's going to be some real stories in there as well.
Of course, real stories, because the team, the club is very good.
We're just being...
Nice to meet you. I speak French, though. I speak French, though.
Tant mieux.
Ouais.
Non, comme promis, je reviens faire un au revoir. Comme je l'ai dit tout à l'heure, j'ai un tournage et je vais continuer. And I have to go. So, je voulais juste faire un bisou à tout le monde. J'espère que vous avez aimé cette session d'entraînement.
Merci, Laure.
Bilingue, anglais, français, voilà, on est là. Bonne soirée à tous, salut, ciao.
Laure, who is, as you know very well, 13 years at Paris Saint-Germain. So yes, just a final word then on this. We spoke to Kylian yesterday about how he's sent a couple of messages to Anthony Martial and Paul Pogba, but great to see French football as well, which will be taking centre stage in one of the biggest ties of the Champions League.
Yes, of course, they're world champions, of course, all of them, they play Champions League every week, and now this is the big things, because we enter it's not the group steps, it's knockout stage. So of course, at some point, Atletico Madrid will play. So of course, the French, they will play each other, and you have a lot of talents on the pitch. So Martial, Pogba, like you say, and Areola and Kylian. The other way, it will be a big club.
نشكر لاعبي باريس سان جيرمان ونشكركم نتمنى انكم استمتعتوا مع حصة
The pitch, yeah.
We can see the players are just finishing up. Your time this evening. I know it's been a busy one for you as well with all your media commitments, but it's great to catch up with a former Parisian here in Doha. There are former Parisians everywhere.
Yes, we're all over the place.
We hope to see you back in Paris soon as well at the Parc des Princes. It's still chez vous.
Yes, or maybe in the final of Champions League in Madrid. It will be better.
Well, that's the one we're all looking forward to. We'll cross those fingers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
A pleasure.
Take care.
Bonne continuation.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Well, after all of that, we will draw a close to our live training session here at Khalifa Stadium, where Paris Saint-Germain have trained in front of a good 10,000 fans here, as we still have a few journalists running around everywhere. The players have headed inside. They're still signing autographs and a bit of a photo session. But from me, Robbie Thompson here, from Laure Boulot as well, who is here, Maxwell and everyone, we will bid you farewell from Khalifa International Stadium, and we'll see you on Saturday for Paris Saint-Germain versus Guingamp. The pre-match, the post-match, everything all to do with that match. Back to Ligue 1 action on Saturday at the Parc des Princes. From me and all the team here in Doha, it's bye for now.